I know they try to do good things for you, but there's so much broken about it.
Yeah.
And that's where we are now, is because I myself was a product of that. And I'll just briefly go over this, but in December 2020, I had gotten back from Iraq, or sorry, Syria, that July. That was my third trip out to Syria. And I'd met my wife previous to that. I'd gone and served in after Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, 2019. You know, it was a big one, Category 5. Stuck over Grand Bahama and Abaco for over 24 hours. It stalled there, just total devastation. And that was this point where I realized, like, man, like I can do stuff outside the mill. I can use my skills to help here, right? And that's kind of where we started thinking about recovery. But prior to that, there were some things in my life that I was doing that I didn't even really recognize. Like I was a functioning alcoholic for about a decade up to that point, through things that I'd seen, best friend being killed, you know, wife cheating on me when I was overseas, like all these things that add up. And I got to a point where, you know, I got back in July and I was like, man, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go help people abroad utilize my skills. Right.
Wow.
But I hadn't gotten rid of those demons yet. And when I started putting my retirement packet in, you drop it in, you know, I'm at like 19 years at that point. I told them, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to retire out of the military, and the SF's pretty cool. So they're like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to go help people. And they're like, all right, man, you don't need to come to work. Just come check in every once in a while. Right.
Wow.
So, in doing that, I went to, started my out processing. Right. And, they took me to this clinic. It's called Intrepid Spirit, and it's great. Right. I've been involved in a couple IED blasts and some of the weaponry I trained on. I have a traumatic brain injury. So they put me in this room, and I have all these doctors around, and neurosurgeons, psychologists, all these people, right? And they go over my case, and they assigned me a psychiatrist. I never had one before. And this is in, you know, the COVID time, right? So this is a Zoom call, like once every 2 weeks. And so I talked to this lady, and, you know, bless her, she's trying to do her best.
Sure,
but I talked to her, and she's like, all right, you know, introduces herself. And this is a 1 hour call every 2 weeks. And she's like, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to think back to like a memory or a time on one of your deployments that was really tough. And she's like, I want you to find one that like you've almost forgotten. And I was like, all right. So I start digging, you know, because I buried this stuff deep, man. Like, you know, like we got that. We got to hide it in this box and put it inside of me. That's what I was doing. And I found one of these memories, and I remember, you know, this is another time in Iraq, and we got this news of this mass grave, like there'd been like an ethnic cleansing. And so we're walking around, we walk out there, and we find this supposed site, and we start digging it up with our hands and our little shovels. And sure enough, we started unearthing all these bodies with, like, I mean, we got gloves on, but basically our bare hands. You know, I'm seeing like little kids decomposing faces and hands, and I'm like, holy hell, you know, that's deep. That's rough. And I started explaining that to her, and then bing, it's like, time's up.
Shut the fuck.
And I was like, dude. All right. So she's like, we'll talk about this in 2 weeks. So, man, so then like everything starts coming back, right? Like I was trying to go sober again at that point, start drinking again. I got my anxiety, I got nightmares, it's all coming back in. And I talked to her 2 weeks later. She's like, how you feeling? I'm feeling like shit. You know, everything, like all my symptoms are back. Like I can't stop, but every time I close my eyes, I see that. And she's like, all right. So